A very good afternoon, dear students and faculty members. Welcome back to another power-packed session of the PGDM orientation program for batch 2021. Welcome to the lead session on how to build your powerful brand. LEAD is an initiative of AEG which aims at developing and inculcating the leadership and entrepreneurship spirit among the young generation. Leadership and entrepreneurship development is the need of the hour and most necessary tool for suitable development, business growth, employment generation, and empowerment. AEG LEAD invites top industry professionals wherein they share their high-valued experiences, guide students towards innovative thinking, share their high-valued ventures, their ideas, creativity, and certain ways by which you can focus on self-development. Few of the speakers under this program include Shri Pranab Mukherjee, Dr. Kiran Bedi, Mr. Sagar Daryani, the founder of Wow Momos, General Bikram Singh, former Chief of Army Staff of India, Mr. R.K. Somani, Managing Director, HSIL Limited, Mr. Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing, Mr. Richard Recchi, former CEO, KPMG, R. Gopalakrishnan, former Director, Tata Sons Limited, to name a few. When it comes to entrepreneurship and self-branding, who could be better than Miss Priya Kumar, Indian writer and motivational speaker, who is our esteemed guest for this event today. She is India's #1 motivational speaker and best-selling author of 14 inspirational books that have won 42 international awards so far. In her speaking career spanning over 25 years, Ms. Priya has worked over 2,047 countries so far and transformed the lives of over 3 million people through her personal breakthrough sessions and highly curated power talks. In her collection of 14 best-selling books, Ms. Priya has also written the biography of late Shri O.P. Munjal, the founder of the Hero Group. At the moment, Ms. Priya is penning the biography of Pulela Gopichand, the chief national badminton coach, the man behind world champions such as P.V. Sindhu, Saina Nehwal, Srikanth, Kashyap, and others. Ms. Priya's 5th inspirational book, I Will Go With You, has been made into a web series, The Final Call, which is now released in Z5. The Calling, her 8th book, made it to #1 bestseller in France, and the French media has also called Ms. Priya the Paulo Coelho of India. Ms. Priya was also awarded the Times of India Speaking Tree Good Karma Award as India's best inspirational author in India. Without taking any further time of yours, I think you all would love to hear from her. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Professor Garima. You speak so well, yeah? That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for the lovely introduction. I tell you, hearing about me only is a little intimidating. You know, you read everything. Generally, we give the introduction sheet that, whatever you feel is needed, you can say, but you read everything. So thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be a part of your beginning journey. They say that if the beginning is good, then all is well. And I can see, that Asian Business School, the faculty, the guardians, the directors, everybody has added so much life into your journey that while, yes, of course, the commitment is toward academic excellence, to also be committed to add value to personal mastery, to personal growth, I think is a great investment in future success. And that speaks volumes about your journey forward and the vision of the Institute. So I must say you all are not just in safe hands, but in the right place if you have a vision for yourself. So thank you very, very much for having me here. And, you know, when you guys make it, this batch makes it. And I see, you know, most of you doing very well. I'll say I was there, you know, even if it was for an hour. So, okay. Now, before I start my session, I'd like to put a few disclaimers. See, we're doing this virtually. There could be internet glitches beyond our control. You know, you are watching something and sometimes the audio goes off, video goes off. So my apologies, it's not in my control. Second is I have 2 dogs. I am doing this from home. So they will come and visit. You know, sometimes they worry for my sanity that she's been sitting here too long talking to herself. I mean, she cannot see, the dogs can't see the people, you know, behind the screen. So they might just come to check what's going on, sniff the camera and go away. And I'm not the kind of person who shoos and kicks them away. So there may be visitors. So beyond that, we're ready to begin. So the topic selected is build your brand. And you would have realized today that without promotion, without branding, nobody makes it today. You know, there are so many people, there is so much noise, there is so much clutter, there is so much competition that you really have to stand out today to even get noticed. You know, whether people pay attention, whether they do something or not is a far different story, just to get noticed. Okay. And I am telling you, your journey of building your personal brand starts now. Okay. You must invest in giving your career a direction now, because I'm telling you, the next 1 year, 2 years, you know, however long that you have enrolled, it's a very protective environment. Everything will work for you. It's a safe environment. But the minute you get out into the world, which you will, give it time, you will. You know, this is not your destination. This is just a stepping stone. And you're thrown into the sea of opportunities. And did you know the greatest confusion for people comes is when they're out on their own. You know, then the real question comes, what should I do? You know, and it's a place where you should not be asking the question. You should be ready to go out and rule right now, starting now. Because when you graduate and when you're out of this environment and you're thinking, what do you think I should do? It's too late already. Okay. See, the opportunities are there. All right. Everything you desire is out there in the world, and your academic excellence will provide only life jacket support. It will keep you afloat. It will get you there. That, okay, I have given you the buoyancy. Now you go select which direction you want. And that direction, if it matches your passion, then I think you are set to rule, conquer. You are basically set. But if your passion, if your drive, if your purpose is not clarified, then what personal branding, then what brand will you build? The brand is not built on, your knowledge. It is built on what you want to do, who you are, what you stand for, what is your contribution. And if you can give that some attention while you're still here, I think you will make it further than you had envisioned that you came here with the dreams that you came here. So I'm going to cover 3 points. Okay. Now, I am a firm believer that brand to baad mein aayega. First, let's establish what is your passion. What is it that you love to do? See, whatever course that you have taken up must lead to something. It must add value to something. Let me give you an example. See, I have 3 companies. Okay, one is in writing books, one is my speaking, and one is my digital platform. So let's say I hire somebody from a business school. So I have brought them because they're good, they're academically good. I like them, I love their skills, and I bring them into this environment on my digital platform. You get it? So which means whatever you do here for the next few months and years will be focused into this career direction. Now, are you going to make that choice, or are you going to get pulled in, whether you like it or not, whether that is what you had decided or not? is what we're getting at. Okay, might as well it be your decision. Might as well you decide that, look, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and start it now. Start the experiment now. Okay, and it must come early. I have actually finished writing the book of Pulela Gopichan, and it's due for release in October. And he said one very, very important thing. So while I was interviewing him for the book, he inspired me so much towards sport and toward physical fitness. So I had this brimming energy, and I said, Gopi sir, do you think, I'm 48 years old. When I was writing, I was 46. I said, Gopi sir, I'm 46. You've inspired me so much. Do you think I can become an athlete and go for the Olympics? So he looked at me. When you have someone that enthusiastic, how do you tell that person to shut up, stop dreaming? It's not going to happen. So he says, sorry, Priya, it's not going to happen. Okay. And, it's like, why? I want to do this. I'll do everything possible. And he says, no, sorry, you missed the boat. Because to be a champion in that field, you should have started at the age of 6. Okay, now, according to him, if you want to be an athlete, a sport person, between 4 to 6, you should get started. Every additional year is a delay and cuts your chances of coming up to this level. And I tell you, while that is true for sport, that is also true for all other professions. You know why? While Gopichan was talking about physical development, that your body must develop in a certain way right from the start to sustain you in a game that only world champions survive, in that match, in that game. Same happens with our mindset. See, the longer it takes, the older we grow, it becomes difficult to learn, because now we know too much of the unnecessary stuff. We've already formed opinions. We've already formed ideas. People have already shaped us. We've already decided what everything means. And then to come and, plant seeds, it becomes so difficult. Have you not seen adults who are non-believers, when you take your idea to them and they say, I don't think it's possible, because now they are judging against so much of life, and their opinion is based on these experiences, not on what you see, not on what your vision. So my friends, what I'm saying is, you start now. Start when nobody is expecting anything from you. Start when, nobody even wants you to take up anything of importance except focus on your studies. So the age is now to define your passion on which you will build your brand. Now, I tell you, it's very, very simple. Let's not complicate it for those of you who are still confused. What am I going to do in the future? See, passion is love. Ask yourself, what do I love to do? And give it a chance. So let's say this voice erupts like, it did in school for me one time. What do I love to do? And I said, okay, I love to sing, so I started to build on that. I started to go for singing classes. And then I think I was convinced in 2 weeks that I was really bad. And I really did not want to, stand in one corner and do riyaz and all. I said, it's not my cup of tea, but at least I gave it a chance. Instead of moving forward in life and saying, what if, then it's regret. Give it a chance and give it up early if that is not something that interests you. Then I thought, I'll make music. So I started to play the guitar, but then my fingers hurt and I was not really committed. I gave it up. But there is something that I really loved to do, and that was writing. And that's what I stuck to. Now look, while all of the students were studying the same subjects, writing was not a part of it. Writing was extracurricular, you understand? And sometimes it's that extracurricular attraction. Don't be afraid that while I have enrolled for this course and it takes most of my time, it's okay to give your attention on the side. Let me give you an example. Bill Gates, right? So Bill Gates, his passion, his love, his attraction was programming and computers. And this is starting from the age of 15. And I tell you, pick up any person you admire, legendary person, or someone you feel like, I want to be like him or her, and track back. You will see this started very early. Okay. So I am a great fan of start early, start now. So at the age of 15, Bill Gates loved programming, but the problem was that the computers were occupied during, the working hours, and he couldn't afford the fee. So he got into an arrangement, with the keepers and the faculty, that when the computers were not in use, he would use it with his friend Paul Allen. Okay, and they both became business partners later. So from the age of 14 till whenever he went off to college, Bill Gates would use the computer from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now imagine that. That is passion. Where you go to school, you come back, you do your homework and go to sleep, because he has to wake up again at 11 p.m. and go and do it. Now, was it a part of his curriculum? No, it was extra. You understand what I'm saying? So don't mistake academic curriculum for passion. This curriculum actually is going to help you further your passion once you have immersed in it, and therein comes your branding. Okay. So Bill Gates and Paul Allen did this for the longest time. I think 7, 8 years or what. You can check it up on the internet. Then Bill Gates went to Harvard. So what do you think he studied in Harvard? Programming? It was his passion. Do you think he studied programming? No, he studied law. See, what a stark difference. His passion is computers and programming, and he's studying law. Okay. Sometimes they're not on the same page, but they link up, because you see, if you have passion and if you don't have this investment of how to build a business, of how to build a brand, then really this doesn't go anywhere. I know of so many people, you also know of so many talented people, but they do nothing with it because they don't have this backing. So don't underestimate. People say, oh, Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard, aisa nahi tha. Paul Allen called Bill Gates one day and said, look, there was this new computer launched, I think Altair 8800. And he said, look, this is happening without us. So he forced him to drop out of Harvard and said, let's start Microsoft. But Bill Gates' core strength was not just programming, but also marketing, also branding, also legal, which he had learned. And that is how it went hand in hand to establish it. So kahan se kahan, look at his education and look at his passion. His education fueled his passion. So be aware. What is it that you love to do? Experiment. It's okay to give it up soon, no problem. And then go on. And I must warn you, sometimes your passion is something you take for granted. See, when I was in school, I loved to write, but nobody told me, Priya, it's your passion. Okay, because writing was not a part of a part of the extracurricular projects. Like, I don't think anybody told Bill Gates, oh, I think programming is your passion. He was doing it on the side. It was not a part of the study, and people really don't get it. Who must get it? Is you. What are the clues? What do you do in your extra time? What do you love to do? Give yourself a chance first. Okay, and browsing the internet and all is not passion. So what I used to do in school is I would love to write. So for example, if I wrote an essay and I would, get applauded for it or get higher marks, then my best friend would say, can you write the essay for me? Now imagine this. You have an essay called, let's say, autobiography of a book. And your friend says, can you write it for me? Okay, good. But I can't write the same essay, right? Now I have to give it a different twist. All right. And when her essay also stood out, all the other friends would come to me and say, can you write this for me? So there was one point in my life where in a class full of about, we had a small batch, 18 students, I was writing 18 different essays on the same subject. You tell me, I was meant to be a writer. If I can give 18 perspectives to autobiography of a book, that's it. Take the certificate. You're a born writer. Okay. I used to, and it takes time. It takes time to cook up those stories. So which means that while I was writing those essays for free, which I would never even get credit for, I was taking away time from my playtime. I was taking away time. Actually, that time we didn't have much. We didn't have TV. We didn't have social media. We just needed to be busy, to do something. So it was far easier. But you see, other kids were playing and doing whatever it is that they were doing. And I was sitting and writing. That is passion. Okay, it will all add up. Wait for it. It will add up, to the point that in my class, I would write love letters for everyone, all through in college also. So for everyone's girlfriends and boyfriends, who was writing the love letters? Me. So technically, all those people were in love with me. Yeah. So it was meant to be. And see, Paul Allen was the one who plucked Bill Gates out. Okay, I met Dr. Patel when I was 19 years old. Okay, and he looked at my writing and he said, Priya, you write very well. Now see, my teachers didn't get it. They didn't know. First of all, they didn't know I was doing it. Okay, so my passion went hidden. My parents, never knew also about it, because you don't want to tell them I'm doing this for my friends. So imagine, it's a hidden secret. Obviously, those guys and girls are not saying this love letter is for you, but technically Priya wrote it. You follow what I'm saying? No credit, no recognition, no clue also. It's anonymous writing. But then Dr. Patel, who was my neighbor, who looked at my writing, he was 73 years old. I was about 19 years old. So I showed him my stuff and he said, you're brilliant. You should write columns because you have so many perspectives. Okay. And at 19, you're like, what rubbish. Okay. Now he was writing for Times of India already. And he said, write this. I'll give you a subject, write it for me. I wrote it, gave it to him. And 6 days later, I got a check from Times of India saying, we have taken your column. And Dr. Patel said, oh, write more. So I said, okay, just for fun. Yeah, nobody had ever told me. And see, when you're young, when you're starting early, when you're not yet out into the world looking for a job and everybody's putting pressure on you, mila ki nahi job, what are you doing? And then your bosses put pressure on you. When you're young, there is no expectation. So he told me, write some articles, and I wrote 10, just like that. And when there is no pressure, your full pure expression also comes out. And I wrote 10 articles and gave it to him. So he said, okay, let's send it to 10 different newspapers and see which article they like. There were 6 publications who said, we'll take all 10. And I said, oh my God, in 1 month, I had to write 60 articles to give 10, 10, 10 to all. But you know what? I had speed, because I used to write articles for my essays for my friends. You think writing came just like that? And by the way, they didn't pay money. Only Times of India paid money. Nobody else did. In my whole life, I have written over 700 published columns. Okay, then I started to write books, and people say, oh, wow, it's so amazing. You're following your passion. You're gifted. You're special. Hey, I just followed something that I love to do, never equated with money, never equated it with recognition. It was just an expression. And that is what passion is. If it is something that you love to do, you invest your time and you pay for it, and chant and be ready for no recognition. Survive it a little bit. You have 2 years, you have 1 year, however long that you have enrolled, you have that time. Go that distance and then see the doors open. Then it will make sense. Your education on one side and your passion, and you will be the biggest promoter of it. You will not walk out thinking, what shall I do? You know exactly what to do. Okay, how I became a motivational speaker? Because Dr. Patel said, hey, you talk so well. Can you just do this event? Can you speak for half an hour on your journey? I spoke for half an hour on my journey. This was when I was 20 odd years old, still not a graduate. Okay, what have I got to lose? See, when you're a 20-year-old and you're trying to make an attempt to do something with no money, you're trying to make an attempt. You know what? People support you. But the minute you charge money, they judge you. So start now. I went and I spoke. It was a Lions Club event. And you know what? That one event that I spoke at about the age of 20, I am still talking. Yeah, so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of comments. How will this add up? How will you make money? Authors don't get paid. Seriously, you'll become a motivational speaker. People will pay you. You have no experience of life. You have no experience of working. How will it add up? I don't know how it'll add up. Right now, I'm just doing it for fun. When I come to the stage of making choices of what profession I should take, this will help me further it. Even if nobody believes in me, I have enough power of what I have studied to apply it to what I want and build my brand. Or wherever I go, if you have similar visions to my passion, and if I join you, I will build my and your brand and further it. So that is very, very compelling, something that I want you to focus and pay attention to. Now, what if you don't know what is your calling, what is your passion? Means khatam abhi? No. Sometimes you get pushed into it. You get pushed into things you don't like. And I have found this interviewing people I admire. If I admire someone, I'll to fix a meeting and say, I want to talk to you. How did you make it so far? That's my question. Because you know what? Success principles are duplicable. You tell me 3 formulas that have worked for you. And you know what? I can tweak it to my context and use it. So I did the biography of late Shri O.P. Munjal. He was one of the founders of the Hero Group, Hero Cycles, if you've heard of. Now, O.P. Munjal, when I met him at the age of 86, my God, I did all his interviews in office first. He went to office. He would go on time. He would reach, I forgot, it was a long time ago, 7 years ago. I think 8:15 or 8:05 he would reach the office. और उनका ऐसा, उनकी ऐसी मिसाल थी that whatever time he reaches, 8:05, let's say it's 8:05 that he gets there, and let's say it's actually 8:10 and he's 5 minutes late, everyone will start adjusting their watches to 8:05. That Bauji, Chote Bauji cannot be late. That was the kind of, discipline he had created, that ye aaye to ye waqt hai, fir waqt kuch bhi ho. Okay, so much passion. And I asked him, so when you were young, what did you want to be? Did you want to make cycles? He said, kuch bhi. I didn't want to make cycles. I wanted to play cricket. Okay, that was his passion. But what happened was that it was the need of the hour that somebody look into the cycle handle manufacturing expansion, which the 3 elder brothers had. So O.P. Munjal was plucked out of the system, which is plucked out of the system of education and following his first love, which was cricket, and put into business. Okay, and the man says that if you give your attention 1000%, like a horse with blinkers, interest fosters love. Love progresses into passion. See, think about it. When you get interested in something, it gets to you, it consumes you. Attention is energy. Wherever your attention goes, energy begins to flow there. And he said, I got so consumed. By the way, the brother sent him for a business project for 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks. You read the book, you'll get it. Okay, that's it. His job was to do that for 3 weeks. But 3 weeks, O.P. Munjal, at 15 years of age, immersed so much in the business. You know why? Because he wanted to make his brother proud. That my brother has trusted me with something, I want to deliver. Tab wo zamana tha that, bade bhai sahab, I want to impress him. I want to be known as his younger brother. Meri bhi kuch pehchan ho. Utna hi tha. Just that value-based system that I don't want to let the trust of my family down. He gave his 1000%. And O.P. Munjal says, when I left my house for business, I was the younger brother of Brij Mohan Lal Munjal. Like, he would call and say, Mera chota bhai aa raha hai, chota bhai aa raha hai. And he said, when I returned, after 3 weeks, I was a businessman, never going back to anything. So I urge you that sometimes it could be that you get pushed into something. It will all add up. It's connecting the dots. Steve Jobs' speech, connect the dots. In hindsight, you will see it all align. Nothing is happening by accident. If you get pushed into something, give it a shot, give it a chance. See, maybe it will add up. And if it really doesn't, after 3 weeks, he could have gotten back to his life. But how will you know if this is for you or not? If you don't give your 1000%, then when you come up and say, I quit, first answer my question. Did you give it 1000%? Did you give it everything you had? Yes, but I really don't like it. I think I want to play cricket. Then go for it. And you know what? When you make that shift to go for cricket, I'll believe you. I'll believe in you. I will support you because I know you're the kind of person who gives that kind of attention, energy, and everything you've got to whatever it is that you do. So to build your brand, define first your passion. I've given you both scenarios, something that you love to do or something that you get forced into, and both will need your attention. And remember this, you cannot ask for money. Don't judge passion with money. It's like, what's your dream car that you want, let's say a Ferrari, all right? And you somehow gather all the money and buy the Ferrari, okay? Drive it. You can't drive it until you fuel it every day because it guzzles fuel, right? Then you can't say abhi ek bar to kharid liya. No, it needs maintenance every single day. Similarly, your passion is going to cost you time and money every single day. But the good part is you can experiment it for this time as a student, and you can come back for references with your teachers, with the faculty and the stakeholders who are evidence of supporters in your success. Now comes, you've identified something, now comes the real brand building. See today, and look, what are the steps, tips and hacks and so on? You can find them enough on Google. You go on Google, tips on building a Instagram account, how to have more followers, pay for it, organic, all those are tips and hacks, and they forever keep changing. Okay, the rules of social media forever keep changing. So you can look that up. I think it's a half an hour job or consult each other. But what you put on that social media is your real branding. First of all, if I go to your social media, by looking at it, I should know who you are. I should know what your vision is. I should know what your passion is. And I know what you want from life. That should be evident. Yes, khane ka post, dosa khaya, and I did this and I did that. I mean, meaningless, stop it. Stop it from right now. Because now, trust me, you will take flight later, but the gates are already closed. It's the final countdown. It's like the pilot saying gates are closed, and now you're going to crawl on the runway for the next 1 to 2 years and take off. What you do now will define your takeoff or delay and come back. All right. So your social media should reflect your vision. And did you know, let me tell you another thing, that most organizations today, especially when they're hiring millennials, do you know, when you apply, there are agencies that are put to scan your social media to see who you are. What are you posting? How many drinks do you post on a Saturday night? They want to see if you are into hate speeches, etc. Because you see, it's very clear that your social media footprint gives a hint and clue about who you are, what your vision is, what your mindset is, and where you are headed. So build it on that. The people that you admire, follow them. Or kuch nahi hai to achhi baat to likho. Write what your belief is, write what your vision is, where you're getting at, your progress, chart your progress on social media, that tomorrow when that dream job opens up, or that potential agent that you want to hire or business partners that you want to invite, when they look at your social media, they are sitting there only browsing because your journey is so inspiring, your presence is so hypnotic that they are like, wow. Because today people can know you, they don't have to meet you to know you. And did you know, people will form opinions about you based on what you put forward. So your social media, your footprint is exceedingly important. And please do not say, oh, it's my personal life. Or kuch personal nahi hai, let me tell you. See, whatever you do in your personal life, first of all, will show up in your professional life. What, you do, even as a student, you spend, let's say, 9 to 5 in the institute. What you do from 5 to 9 will show up what you do there. when my web series was being worked upon, we had a writer. Okay, so when we would have a meeting at 10 o'clock, that writer would be drunk in the night and come for a meeting with solar nights and hungover. So now imagine, he can say, मैंने तो अपने personal time में किया ना, तो पर hangover तो भी हो रहा है ना मेरे professional time पे. He was fired. So don't think that there is a difference. You know, you admire the people you admire, whether it was Ratan Tata or Narayan Murthy or whoever. You see their personal lives, there is an equal to sign. Okay, so match up to your vision. Do everything it takes. If this is your vision, your personality should match up, and the showcase of your personality should match up. See, if you really are this big and you have given a not so nice picture, it's like two wheels of a chariot. You know, hai aap itne bade, par dikha itna rahe hain. You know what's going to happen with that chariot? It's going to go round and round. Try it. One small wheel, one big wheel, gol gol ghumte rahenge. And then people with talent wonder, why am I not getting anywhere? Hey, you are here, but you have not shown that to the world. You have that opportunity at your fingertips. So imagine if you start now, somewhere you will get in the next 1 to 2 years. And that is very powerful branding to start out into the world. Okay. When you are using social media, ask yourself the question, who am I? It should show up. In your profile, I am a student. Please write that. Don't just say, I love to eat and I love to. Heck on, wo to theek hai, right? But first is your qualification. Who are you? Then what is your vision? What are your goals? What are your beliefs? Put that forward. Then think about it. Right now, somebody is looking for you. Are they going to find you? Or you've given some other picture and it's all going round and round. Be specific. So I think these 3 points I thought would be intense. You know, tips and hacks, like I said, you could look it up. A brand needs passion to be built on. It needs skill to be built on. It needs your power, your love, and your energy to be built on. And you know, when you build it, even if you change tracks later, let's say you started off with singing and now you get into business, oh, it will add 20 stars to wherever you go. Because imagine you are working in whatever position and everybody knows you're also a singer. You know what they're going to do when an occasion comes up, when an annual day comes up, when a function comes up, they'll say, come sing for us. And there you get your stage. There you get the exposure. You get it? It will all add up. Follow your passion. Give it a chance, even if you get pushed into it and have no idea about it. Pursue it further and use your academics as the power engine to fuel it when you're out of there. And make sure that whatever information you put out about yourself is in your hands and should be by your design. What I think about you is your responsibility and nobody else's. So if somebody has a misopinion about me, it's my fault. And if somebody thinks highly of me, it's my credit. All right. So take responsibility of your success. I thought I'd put these 3 points together. I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am. I think this talk was an eye-opening one, not just for the students, but each and every member, even of the ABS fraternity staff members who were listening to this talk. Very beautifully that you've spoken about, you know, I think it's important for our students to understand that every moment is an experience. And we need to gauge something from there. And when we intertwine this experience with probably some good experiments in life, they surely would take a very, very long way. And we have interacted with these students, this batch specifically. All the students, I would say, come with some specific idea of their own. So they're very, very thoroughly, you know, intrigued to know that what is this self-branding all about? And this talk of yours very beautifully answered that question. So thank you so much, first of all, on behalf of the students to you. So with due permissions, can we start with the Q&A, because we've got a lot of questions from the students.
Yes, of course. I may have some answers, some they will have to find and then tell me
Great.
all.
Great. Sure. We all shall pull in that. So the first question is that when we talk about a brand or we talk about a company, people always talk about USPs. And I think that is very relevant in today's world for an individual as well, to identify what unique do they possess, who they are exactly, their self-awareness. So can you suggest us how to find out the personal USPs?
See, it's very, very important that for personal USPs, you have to know yourself, and you can only know yourself when you ask the right questions to you. Okay, because all the time we are subject to opinions of others. We are looking for validation, or there is negativity coming and we fight that. So who are you? Write that every day. I would recommend that all of you do a SWOT analysis every month or quarter. SWOT is strengths. Write your strengths. Don't judge. Make the list as big as possible. I challenge you, make it a list of 50. If it becomes a challenge, you will write 50. Let's say if I put a gun on your head and said, no, you're dead. You write 50 or you're dead. You will write 50 strengths. You will be forced to acknowledge that I'm honest. That's a strength. I love speed. That's a strength. I'm a rebel. That's a strength. Okay, recognize that. Then write opportunities parallelly. If honesty is your strength, what is the opportunity? Perhaps I can be the currency counter, or I could work at a diamond store. I don't know what. Okay, then weaknesses. What are your weaknesses? See, before the whole world tells you, you should know it. You should be the kind of person, when somebody tells you, this is not good about you, you say, yeah, I know it already. I'm working on it. Okay, and the threats. So a person who is aware of both sides, strengths and weaknesses, very easily knows his USPs and can convince others. So when somebody asks me, nobody will ask you that what is unique about you, but you know what to tell. 3 things. I love speed. Give me a job and I will do it yesterday. I can write books in 5 days. So you define all of that, etc. So, and that comes from asking yourself questions every so often.
Right, great. So I think one exercise to our students, which we have already conducted, but I think it's a good point to mention that this should be a regular exercise.
Yes.
Find out about yourself very, very regularly to keep a track of things. Great.
Yes.
As a student, we feel it is important to stick around the goal and not get withered away. So can you suggest a few ways which can help one develop resilience and persistence? As we see, these are most important, skills or attributes which one should possess today.
See, I feel resilience and persistence comes easy with focus. If you have nothing else to go to, if you have nothing else to weigh, then obviously you're at it. Like for example, I was asking Pulela Gopichand, whose book I have written, that, did you not miss out on life? That when you were an athlete, he did not go for parties, he did not go for birthdays, he did not celebrate his own birthday, etc. There's a lot he missed out on. So I said, did you feel you compromised? So he said, Priya, sport was everything for me. I had nothing here. That while you said it is my birthday, it was not important to me. For me, what was important was that I play. So keep your focus on the job and cut out distractions. Make the choice upfront and clear that, look, 1 year, 2 years, I'm dedicating to this. And that automatically focus brings resilience effortlessly. See, if you have to say, okay, I have to be persistent, I have to be resilient, which means aapka dhyan bata hua hai. It's already scattered places. So you have to bring it back and you have to put it here. But when your attention is here, you're saying, bring more. There's no challenge. I'm not feeling the high. Give me some more problems. I want to solve. I have so much more time. Is it done already? Is there nothing higher? Is there nothing bigger? And that comes from focus when you have managed the distractions. Try it. It's very easy.
Right. Greatly answered. Well, something comes to my mind, which I have seen as an experience, as a lecturer, that students do get withered away with peer pressure. It's
Yes,
cool to probably socialize. It's cool to probably, get into parties late at night. Maybe their value system does not stand for certain things, but they to be part of that particular group, they go along with it. How
right.
how difficult do you think is it to say no and retain the identity? And if it is not that difficult, how can students actually retain their identities and not get involved into such things, and probably say no to certain things which they want to say no to?
See, I tell you, while we are taught, once you do move out in life, saying yes is a very powerful attribute. Okay, but saying no is also an equally
Right.
powerful attribute. It's literally like this. Let's say you get out of your house and 20 salespeople come to you and say, ye bhi le lo, ye bhi le lo. You can't buy everything, right? You have to say
Right.
no to something. All right. And always remember, you abhi Olympics went by, when you have that pedestal, there's one, there are only 3 positions. That's it. There are millions of people who get into the race to qualify for Olympics, and only 3 will make it. So understand that 1 or 2 people is okay. If you're going to go where the majority go, you're not going to make it. Let me also tell you, Pulela Gopichand would say that, when he was playing with the players and he had these friends, I'm giving the example because also we've gone through this whole sport thing with the Olympics. So he said, when
Right.
all these players would win, let's say the team would win a match and all, they'd say, okay, let's go party. And Gopi Chand would say, no, I'm going home. So, and he said, I would be so happy that these fellows are partying because they are going to eat all wrong, sleep less, not practice. And when they come tomorrow, it'll be so easy to beat them. So please understand, is that where you want to go? And learn to say no now, because leadership is about taking a stand. It's about taking a position with no fear to please others. Okay, if you can do that from an early age, you will survive. Bill Gates had to say no to a lot of people, right? Think about it. You think his friends didn't make fun of him? I really want to read up some articles or books where he's spoken about his student life, that he comes home, goes to sleep, to wake up in the night. How many friends do you think he had? Do you think he had any friends? I mean, how many people will do that? How many people understand that? But look where he is. And he is in the company of the best in that world, that pedestal, 1, 2, 3, in the company of champions. If you want to get there, you cannot follow majority, and you must do everything it takes to protect this circle. And don't take my words for it. Look up anybody that you admire. They had to say no from a very early age. Otherwise, you will be thrown around. फिर आंटी जी भी बोलेंगी जाना पड़ेगा, फिर ये भी होगा, उधर भी करना पड़ेगा. It's over. Don't compromise.
Right. Very, very beautifully answered, I would say.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we have seen in most of your videos that you're focused, on the importance of reading, which we
Yes.
as an institution also believe in that. So as students, can you recommend certain ways in which students can enhance their reading skills? Because not everyone is into reading, but this is the most important aspect, which probably opens the horizon of every intellect possible.
See, I'll tell you one thing which is written in stone. There are a lot of things about life that can be challenged, but a leader is a reader. Okay. Yes, you can be successful without being a leader of any sort. We know so many people who have so much money, but leadership, hey, nahi. You don't want to be like them. You want all the money he has, but you don't want to be like him as a person. They can't speak one thing sensible. You don't admire them. If you want to be in the leadership position, you have to read. I was watching an interview of Warren Buffett yesterday, and he said, I want to learn how to read faster. I read a lot, but I want to read more. That man is a billionaire. He sits on top and he only manages companies. How do you get those many perspectives? You can't live those many lives, but you can take an input. And I will tell you, whether you like it or not, you have this whole storm of input coming to you. False data, false knowledge. Might as well put your attention toward correct knowledge, correct data, life skills that will put you forward. My challenge is one book a week. And I'll tell you one more thing. I'll tell you, when I started my career, okay, I was looking at people who can I be like? You know, when I started as a motivational speaker, they told me kuch bhi, kaun sunega tumhe, pehle job kar lo, 10 saal, uske baad motivational speaker bano, and so on. So I looked up this guy, Tony Robbins, okay? He is a big superstar as a motivational speaker. And I ordered his brochure where he had written in a short interview that over 10 years, he had read 200 books. Okay, I said, chal, 10 saal mein 200 books padhiye, I will read 200 books in 1 year. You know, I gathered my savings. I went to this bookstore. That man singularly sells most of my books because I bought 100+ books and got it home boxes. And my father was so angry. Who buys 100 books and comes? Okay. And I read and I read. I read over, I think, 150 books in 1 year. You think it's just by chance? Yeah. You think it's just by chance I've survived 25 years? And even if I speak for 1 hour, it's not that 1 hour's content. You ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. Where did it come from? This richness here. A leader is a reader. You don't do that. Very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Well, that was a number. A big, great challenge that you've taken up. And I think that is going to stay with you for years now.
Absolutely.
Because of the intellect gains, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what can be done to enhance the productivity, as it is a great skill which everyone in the corporate or the business world is looking at? How can one enhance their productivity?
See, productivity comes from skill and execution in a timeline. So productive means I have so much time, and my rule is that if I have started something, I will only get up when it's done. So I define how much time. Okay. Even when I give a task to somebody, until I don't get a time for submission, I will not hang up that call. It's not end of day. It's not tomorrow. It's not this week. Tell me when. Because when you put a timeline to a task, then you start aligning things. Then focus happens. Then you know that I have to give my all and I have to give in this timeline. So productivity depends on two things. Your skill, which must constantly be improvised. And second is deliver in timelines. And I tell you, even today, when I write a book or I write a column or I write an article, my writing time, okay, let's say it's a 500 word article, my writing time will be less than an hour, but I will ask for 3 hours, because 2 hours I will read, I will research. You know, if I already have a skill, I want to upgrade it in double the time and then produce. How can that article not be taken? Don't take your skills for granted and don't violate timelines.
Great. Some of the students live are also sharing few questions, so they're very inquisitive to know. One student is asking that from the book The Wise Man Said, written by you, and you have mentioned between decision and destiny, there is a bridge of time.
Yes.
Is it relevant to our career as well?
Absolutely. See, just because you want something, it may not come tomorrow. Okay, let's say, I'll give you an example of Ayushmann Khurrana. I interviewed him recently. The interview is called The Genius Code. Okay, so Ayushmann Khurrana wanted to be an actor. But he said, who was waiting to, cast me in their film? Nobody's waiting for you. You've decided. Decision and your destiny as an actor, but in between is time, and what you do in that time will decide whether your decision will reach its destiny. So Ayushmann Khurrana got a job as an RJ. Abhi RJ ka actor se kya matlab hai? Okay, but he thought, if I can be impromptu, if I can connect with people, if I can speak such that the nation listens to me, then that is a skill added to an actor. He took that up. Then he got the opportunity to be a host, for shows, live shows and other shows. what has that got to do with an actor? But he felt, if I can perform, I mean, you gave me a live stage. Actor does what? Perform on screen, and then this audience only goes and watches, right? Let me perform. Let me do my best. I've learned how to talk, so he knows how to interact with audiences, and now he comes here. And his final destination eventually was Vicky Donor, right? And did he not do a fantastic job? Okay, it all added up in the interim. But to say, nahi, RJ nahi banna, I'm waiting for that movie, I'm waiting for the right script and whatever, kuch nahi hone wala. We know a lot of actors who are waiting for the right script. But between decision and destiny is time, and whether this will come closer depends on what you do in that time in alignment with your decisions.
Right. Can we also conclude from this? I think probably this is for the ease of the students, that usually they set very high standards and goals that I'm getting into PGDM, and then probably Google or a very top notch is my final destiny. If not that, if not 30 lakhs package, there's nothing else.
Right.
But to reach that package, probably the smaller jobs or learnings or, things that they've taken up would finally decide whether they reach that ultimate goal or not.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, it's not about where you work. It's about what you do about where you work. So when, people go for an interview, and the larger the organizations become, it doesn't matter even if you worked in a startup. The one question they will ask you, what was your greatest achievement?
Right.
And if you can define that, if you can do that in a startup where, support resources are less, then what will you do when you're given everything? That should be your objective. I will turn this around. I will turn this around. And by the time McKinsey comes to me, I will tell them what to do to turn around. What will you give me a job? I'll tell you what is needed for you.
Right. So we have another question here from Rishabh. He wants to know, I'll Go With You is your personal experience book or fictitious on which the Final Call web series are made? And what are your views on the web series?
See, I'll tell you, they say that when a writer writes fiction, there's really no fiction. It's about their life only. So you
Right.
play various characters, you get to express through various characters. So there is an astrologer. That's also, my kind of instinct. There's a pilot, and so on. So it's like literally, when you have that play or you have that movie where they have the actor and it's written, plays various characters, every author does that. But I Will Go With You came from an experience where I was in a flight which nearly crashed. Okay, it didn't crash, but you know what, when that whole flight was so traumatic that I didn't get to participate in the terror that it haunted me forever. Okay, that what if it would have crashed? What if it would have crashed? So then I wrote the story ki chal kar crash, ho ja, go die, if that was the thing. And that was the theme of the book, that the plane crashes, ab aage kya? So that was the motivating factor. And then I got some personalities and friends and ideas on board to make it, an adventure. And the web series turned out well. They always make changes in it, to suit the visual medium and to add some masala. The only thing that I told the director, they could change karlo, no problem, because the contract says that they will change 30% of the story to fit the visual medium. The only request I had was, please, an item song mat dalna flight mein. Baki jo karna hai kar lo. So, well, if you haven't read the book, you love the web series, but always it happens, if you read the book first and watch the movie or the series, you'll say it didn't match up. So I would say watch the series, then read the book.
Great. Okay. Now let's talk about one of the greatest skills that you have, which is communication skills, and which we identify are very important for every student to possess. So a lot of students say that they probably have stage fear, or they cannot speak in front of the audience. They feel that they would not do good enough. In my eyes, there are probably two reasons to it. One is some of them have really not tried. They haven't been exposed enough to, come to the conclusions. And most of them are probably looking at themselves through other person's eyes. They're already self-assessing them very low, with low self-esteem, that people would think bad of me or not good of me. What can be done to develop these communication skills? Like, you are so well do with that. And how can they get rid of the stage fear?
See, I'll tell you, this is back in school again, and I say start early. So, we in my class batch, they started a new rule. I grew up in Chandigarh, and so we used to have this morning get together. So this morning assembly used to have a pata nahi hota hai ki nahi school mein. And now suddenly with the new batch, they came up with this thing that every student every day will read a newspaper article. Okay, so it was preparing you for elocution. So the first fellow came, and he had cut out the newspaper article. Itna bada kaun padhega? So his hands were trembling. Okay, and you could see the paper, going like that. And then he was trying to focus what is written. And you know what? We all laughed, including me. Would you not laugh? Okay, so when we have to laugh at others, it's like, wow, that was good fun. The morning was made. The other fellow realized कि उसका paper हिल रहा था तो हंस रहे थे, तो he got the whole paper. So his face is also hidden. We all laughed. Okay, now it became a mockery. So the third fellow whose turn it was didn't come to school. Did you know fear of public speaking ranks number 2 after fear of death? So after fear of death, what do people fear? Fear of public speaking. So that fellow didn't show up. After him was my number, and I was forced to go on stage. Priya, you cover up. Okay, and I understood, oh my God, I took the newspaper and I kept reading it like 20 times. And while everybody was, doing the prayers and so on, I was only reading the newspaper because I know how much I laugh and I know what I'm in for. All right. And I went on stage, and the position of that stage was so weird because the sun was in my face. And I get, I have a problem with my eyes. If you shine light, I go blind. Now, can you imagine? I'm standing blind in front of the newspaper, and I didn't even read anything. And how much people laugh because I'm going like that. I can't read because the sun is in my eyes. And you know what? I realized how much it hurts when people laugh at you. Okay, I went off that stage and I told my teacher, I want to come back one more time. Now imagine, I'm already blinded by the sun, which is not going to go down tomorrow. So what I did was, next day, I took that same article, an article a few weeks earlier, memorized it, and went and narrated it with no newspaper. Okay, and it was so good because I was so angry for being laughed at and for laughing at others that after that, did you know, for the next 2 weeks, every kid who was after me, before me, fell ill, and I was always covering up. For 2 weeks, I was the sole newspaper reader. You think I came here just like that? You have to take it head on. Go, be laughed at and say, I will make a mistake. You will laugh at me. So I'll also join you when I forget or whatever. Okay. Till date, by the way, I have all my notes right here handy. What if I forget? I go on stage with my cue cards, and sometimes my team says, ma'am, we have never seen you use the cue cards. Why do you still write it? And I say, for that one day when I will forget. I don't want to stand there and think and say, oops, I'm prepared for everything. And I'm also prepared to laugh with you when you laugh at me. Did you know, there was one time in a program, I was telling Bill Gates' story. So ऐसे कभी-कभी होता है ना, slip of tongue. So instead of Bill Gates, I said Bill Goats. Everyone laughed. And I said, okay, I waited for them to laugh. I said, okay, done. Can I continue? And I continue. Be ready for it. Be prepared for it.
Right. I think such a lovely way of taking the mockeries. Be part of it and just go ahead, because yes, of course, each one of us make mistakes. Great. Ma'am, the topic is build your brand. So how can the student create their professional identity from the very first job?
You mean when you get the job or before?
No, once they've already gotten the job. So how can they start building the brand from the very first job, considering that they're freshers there?
Right. LinkedIn is the first thing. And look, be an opinion leader. No matter what your job is, you're an expert at it. That's why you got hired, right? Now put that expertise out. Let the world know you're an expert at it. Because you know what? I'll give you one thing as a guarantee. Nobody is going to push you forward because everybody wants to go forward. And it becomes a pyramid. The places open become less and less. So don't say, oh, he didn't appreciate me, he did not like me. You put it all out. That when somebody looks you up, they look at you as an expert. Every social media handle of yours should have your designation and the name of the company the minute you get there. If you're writing, you are into accounts, then I want to hear your opinion about it in articles and little notes and blogs or posts on LinkedIn, on other social media. If you're into marketing, give me some tips. You learned it, right? Put a tip a day. That's it. HR would be like, oh my God, wow. This person is amazing. You start building a parallel brand. Whatever you are learning and doing here, start showcasing it. Okay. Whether your team sees it or not, you never know. Someone else may be seeing it and wants you at that 30 lakh salary at McKinsey.
Great. I think such a wonderful tip. I'm sure the LinkedIn users would be increasing today from ABM.
Yes.
So students are really getting pepped up here now, sending us a lot of live questions. This question is coming from Gunika. She's saying, how do you divide your time between delivering ideas and creating them?
See, for me, creating ideas is a thought, okay, that I have from thought to reality takes delivery, takes action. And I'm the kind of person, if I think of something, I must put into action right away. There is this book, I'm going to recommend it. It's called the 4-second rule. Okay, which means that you thought of something, 1, 2, 3, 4, put it somewhere. Write it somewhere, otherwise it's going to go. Then put it into further action. And the CEO of my company, he often tells me when we discuss ideas, he says, Priya, you don't have to do it now because he knows before the call is kept, I'll already have set the mail. I would already have, decided what to do and so on. That's the only way forward. Ideas without action are useless. Okay. So yes, you can't think it through, write it down, put a post-it and, stick it somewhere, revisit it, no problem. Yesterday, I had a conversation with the gentleman and he started telling me such amazing things and I had nothing to write. I took a post-it and I told him at the end of the call that I have 10 post-its that I have written here. So note it down. The least you can do is capture your ideas, build on it, put some time aside, your phone aside. For me, what I do is when I want to get into that creative zone, I put my phone away in the next room on silent. I get a cup of coffee, I put on music, and then I think. Because you know what? It's your ideas that are going to take you to levels of unique and being different. Otherwise, you'll only be acting to manifest other people's ideas. Give yourself time. Give yourself space for that. I call it ideation, thinkineering, like if engineering is my thinkineering time, it's my ideation time. So put it together.
Great. So I think other questions are coming that whenever you feel very low on energy, this is from Ujasvi, and you're very demotivated, how do you motivate yourself? Because self-motivation is very important.
See, I've been a motivational speaker forever. Okay. And what people think of me is, isko to koi problem hi nahi hai. Even if I call a friend and say, I'm very upset, and not say, aap to puri duniya ko sikhate hai. How can you be upset? Hey, but I'm human also. No, I also get upset. And I have found something that works for me. If I'm upset and hurt, I express it, like I'll cry, happily I'll cry, row. There was one time I was so upset, and I started to cry. And suddenly I said, I want to time myself and see kitna time rowenge. So the minute I looked at the watch, I just couldn't cry anymore. It's okay. And when you can't tell people, because I also feel when you're upset and you start talking, there's a lot of regret. When I am upset, I start writing how I feel, and then I can really say it. And then when it's done, I tear it up. So put it all out. Don't be in denial. When people ask me, are you okay? I say, no. Do you want to hear about it? Or, I don't want to talk about it, but I'm not okay. I have never, ever hidden how I feel. And once it is done, please understand, once you pour it all out, once your thoughts are in front of you, once your tears are out, which were all pent up, and once you have just walked around angrily, it's done with. It gets over. Time yourself. I've timed myself beyond 8. It doesn't last, if you really pay attention to it. And then you will find the peace to move on, always to move on. So give yourself the honesty of expression, express it fully and move on. Don't call people and say, what happened, write it down, what happened. And you'll only see how foolish other people are and what smartness you have to do to rise above the situation, or what your fault was that they were right, and how that is going to help your growth. Move on from it.
Very, very optimistic view of looking at things. Great. So we have seen in a couple of your workshops that you've made participants work barefoot on the fire and on broken glasses. So what is the objective of such activities, and what do you expect from the audience to leave?
See, the idea is that I make people walk on fire. Okay. Now it's built strategically that while it is fire and it's hot, you will not get burnt. Okay. Now see, life is like that. But people think because I had burnt in the past, or because they had heard stories of people burning in the past, they're not going to open their minds for an opportunity that could be a game changer. I'm saying fire will not burn you. You should be intrigued and say, how? I want to do it. Tell me how. Because when you do something like that, what you learn is life-changing. It's not about the act of walking on fire. When you take your foot and put it on the coal, you have dealt with every single failure that you had and said, ठीक है, वो side में है, अभी मैं नया देखता हूँ. Let me try again. Or I've heard these stories. उसने किया, मुझे क्या पता क्या किया. When they say uska business kharab ho gaya, ye ho gaya, I don't know what he did. Maybe he was not even doing the business. Maybe he was not showing up. Maybe he was using the money for someone else. So don't equate your success with other people's failures. Come and try, but in the correct leadership. So if I'm saying you check my history also, no, ye kaun hai? Kitni fireworks ki hai? Who are your clients? Who are you? So once you've done that test, then you take the leap that, okay, you're standing here as guarantee. I believe you. Let me try. Question. People have stopped questioning. They've gone on automatic mode when it comes to making decisions of their life. Usne aisa bola to theek hai. Why are you not questioning? Okay, won't burn. Priya, tell me how it won't burn. I'll tell you, there was a very big organization and I took their employees to Maldives. Okay. And the challenge was you will get into the water where there are hammerhead sharks. And this was senior management, which means 45, 50 plus year olds. Okay. Each participant, there were about 10 of them. Each participant had a diver. So you have to dive into the ocean, and there were hammerhead sharks, and I'd given them a water camera, and all they had to do was click a picture. And before in the forms, everybody had written, I'm a swimmer. When they came to the sea, 2 of them denied, saying, nahi, maine jhoot bola tha. Okay, 2 faked a heart attack. No, I'm going to get a heart attack. Oh, why? Because there are sharks. Your senior management, you're not questioning. Priya, what are hammerhead sharks? What if they eat me? And really, a diver is going with you. You're not questioning his life. You're questioning yours. It was all so illogical. Then one fellow started to ask questions. What are hammerhead sharks? And I'm like, hammerhead sharks eat plankton. So even if you go and slap its face, it will not eat you. And your diver is there with you. He's going to be behind you. So the fellow said, no, I want the diver in front of me. I said, excuse me, the shark attacks from the back. So people have stopped questioning. They're willing to let go of the opportunity. They're willing to fake illness. They're willing to lie, but not take a chance by asking simple questions and then making decisions. That is what my workshop aims at. Be interrogative, be investigative. Maybe it's for you, and maybe they all were lying about it.
Right. Very interesting to know about this.
Thank
So
you.
a student wants to know, ma'am, tell us about your new career path. What made you turn to screenwriting, and that too for web series?
See, I'll tell you, I gave one of my books to a producer. और वो मेरी कहानी का क्या बना दिया, that it was literally like, my genetically modified tiger became one humanly fed tiger. Oh my God, it's appalling sometimes what people can do with your story. And I said, look, if I'm going to start giving my stories for movies and web series, I better learn script writing, so that I know what, see, when you know a skill, people will listen to you. Otherwise, when you go for a reading, they'll say, look, authors are different. Author writing books is different, screenwriting is different. But when I studied screenwriting from New York Film Academy and I sit in the meeting, they listen to me. I don't have to write it. I can choose to write it. If you're a better screenwriter, I'll tell you, you write my story. But at least I know enough that people will listen to me. Right. So to protect my stories and them being authentic and in the messaging and the values that I had written it for, screenwriting was compulsory.
Right. So since you have trained so many corporates in the past, what practices should our students follow to gain skills and competency to become best fit for this industry today?
See, personal mastery is number one, which means communication skills, discipline, time management, leadership skills, how to work with people, how to manage conflict. All these softer life skills will decide your progress, skill being a constant. See, there will be enough people on the same skill level, same education level. But what is your journey forward from here is personal mastery and personal skills. Read, like I told you, read the 4-second rule, read outliers, read a lot. Your free time should go there. Parties can happen later. You'll have enough money to spend on parties. But pehle udhar pahuncho to say, right? Invest in courses which will develop you. Like somebody said, fear of public speaking. When you're in the position of leadership, you have to address the whole organization. How will you do that? I was attending a workshop where one senior person is talking on stage and again, adjusting his pant, adjusting his shirt. Aise thodi hota hai. Then there were people giggling. You follow, you learn stage presence, you learn presentation, and all that comes at added time. Add these courses to your basket and start building your personality. Your brand will automatically start building. I consciously invested in this, consciously, right? It was not a fluke.
Right. So a student from Anukriti says that sometimes we really get stuck in different thoughts. What I assume she's talking about overthinking. So how to get rid of this situation?
See, overthinking also comes when you have enough time to think. When you're not doing really anything, you can look into oblivion and think. But if you've got pressure, if you've got exams coming, nobody overthinks then. So build that pressure, build that focus, and align your day, schedule your day. So let's say, for example, I had this workshop for you. I spent 2 hours preparing. Okay, before that, I had a call. Where is the time to think extra than my job? So make your schedule tight. If you're an overthinker, no, you have to control it. And that control only comes when you schedule your day. That, look, I understand I'm the kind of person, once I go, I'm lost. Okay, but I know what I have to do. And when you really immerse yourself time to time in work, then your thinking will be in that tune, that you will think extra and overthink, but on a productive note. That's the only way to control drifting thoughts and drifting emotions.
Right. Great. So you have had an outstanding successful journey. Did you experience any failures? If yes, can you share that? How did you bounce back to normal?
See, success, I would define, is meeting expectations. Okay, that according to me is success. If my vision is that I want to be hired by McKinsey and I'm not, that doesn't mean failure. It means that there is a delay in the outcome or the effort. Yes, there were times when, when I started out as a motivational speaker, not that people were waiting to hire me. I thought they were. But then when you get out into the industry, people are like, I don't think so. What job have you done? What experience do you have? So there was a delay. That doesn't mean I failed. All right. Okay. Now you study. You read those 150 books that you got, reread it, and take up whatever job that comes up. Then I started teaching students at Indo-American Society. And from there, I tell you, it was 4 months. When I started my career as a motivational speaker, it flopped. Nobody wanted to take me because give references. A reference kahan se denge when I'm starting out? First you hire me, then I'll give you a reference. But it's difficult for people to bet on you. But because I was teaching students for 9 years, Indo-American Society hired me and said, look, you're already good with students. Would you like to do personality development for students? That was not my objective, but I took it on. And within 4 months, I was already moving into the corporate world. Like I said, your decision and destiny, you do aligned work in that time. So somebody could say, a lot of people could say, fail ho gaya sir. ये देखो अब जाके students को पढ़ा रही हो तो पहले भी कर रही थी, fail हो गया. But give it time. It's not over. My expectation is not met yet, and I am still alive. I will get there.
Right. I think wonderful lessons that we've taken from you, and students thoroughly have enjoyed the session. Let's
I
move.
wish I could see them. Yeah, I wish this was a on-ground event. I look forward for that. तो ये उधार रहा अभी.
We equally are looking forward to it. Looking at the situations outside, hopefully very soon we would have students on campus, and you as well, with the students actually training them with the wonderful skill set that you possess. So I think we have one very, exclusive component here at ABS, which is a little rapid fire, where we would love to know the, guests a little more. So as you know, a rapid fire would be more rapid and it has to be very honest. So we have a couple of questions for you.
Like coffee with Karan, is it? Do I get a hamper at the end of it and all?
Definitely, you will receive something after it.
Oh, how sweet. Thank you.
Great. So let's start with it then. So the very first question, if given a chance to start your career all over again, siding down your writing career and as a speaker, which career would you go for?
I think I'd be an RJ.
Okay.
So I would have my own show on radio.
Great. But again, that would be related to speaking. So
that would really, then I could cook. I love to cook street food.
Great.
Yeah, so I would put up a vada pav stall and a Maggie stall and take it to another level.
Great. I'm sure you must have succeeded in that as well. And that can be a long-time plan. Again, long-term plan. Okay. So rank in order of preference, wealth, fame, time, and peace.
So I would go peace, time, wealth, and fame.
So peace is the most important thing.
My yardstick of anything I do, does it make me happy? If it doesn't make me happy, you can pay me what you want, I will not do it.
Well, my next question is that what makes you happy, or what is happiness for you?
Is dogs. So they say money can't buy happiness. I say go buy puppies. You will be happy. So they are my go-to happiness. So, when I drive and I see a dog anywhere, that's it. It lights my world up, so yeah.
Okay. So you're very close to your dogs.
Yes.
Great. Again, rank in order of preference, family, friends, well-being, and career.
So it would go well-being, family, career, friends.
Okay. What do you value more, internal well-being or being well off?
Internal well-being. Then I'm well off.
And then well off. Okay.
Then I'm well off. If I'm well internally, to sab acha hai.
Great. What comes to your mind when I take the following words? Education.
Highlight. That becomes the highlight of what I do.
Life.
A beautiful.
Dream.
Come true.
Entrepreneurship.
is an attitude. You could be working anywhere and you can have an entrepreneurship is an attitude. It's not a designation.
Okay. Friends.
Forever. I have a few and they are friends forever.
Work.
Is worship.
Okay. Family.
Is close, first, priority.
And boss, whichever you had in the past.
Yes, I am.
Okay, that was
that even if I work under someone, I'm the boss of me.
Great. How or what was for you the following occasions or the following questions the most favorite childhood memory?
Is when I climbed up a tree so high that I couldn't come down. And they had to, get the fire brigade to get me down.
That surely would stay with you now forever. Most challenging situation, of course, apart from this one that you've mentioned, in your professional life?
I think the challenging part was to justify my age. Because when I started as a motivational speaker professionally in the corporate world at 22, I looked like a teenager. So I used to wear glasses, dye my hair, even wish for some gray hair. It was very challenging to even first say I'm 22 and then get people to listen to me. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. The moment when you had earned your first penny, how was it?
Sorry, the moment when?
When you earned your first penny.
Oh, my father took all the money and I had made plans with it. I was 13 years old and I had planned to buy a new uniform. And my father was so happy with the money that I earned that he banked it, and didn't give it to me. So I was very unhappy. So I realized if he's going to bank this money, then I have to make double to be able to spend what I want.
Okay, great. Well, I don't know. People are very curious to know. This question has come again and again over the chat box. What is your ideal day of work like? Your entire day?
See, I'll tell you, I start my day when I am ready to start. So I work 24/7. So whenever somebody joins my company, I tell them, look, I may not come to office. I may come late because I'm working in the night. So until 4, 5 a.m. So my day starts with my dogs, no matter what, because I've always had dogs. And, when they pass away, they're like, oh my God, give me one more day. So look, I said, when this fellow has come. So my dogs start my day. And it starts with so much fun. You're fighting dogs to get off you. Then I have a study desk right opposite my bed. So I get up and I go straight to my desk. I have a planner, okay, where I write every single day. Before I start my day, I write what am I grateful for? What are my goals? What do I want get done? So it takes about half an hour. Without that, I will not even pick up the phone. And then once I am set, clear with what I want, then I start with the work. And if I have to write, then it's all shut shop. I go to office for a few hours. And when I go to office, I think I disturb everyone because I start chatting with everyone. We eat a lot. My dogs come. So I'm the biggest distraction in my office. So I don't sit there for long. But my team love the work. We're all a happy bunch of people. For me, happiness is primary. I tell everyone who works with me, I will not give you a sick leave. Don't fall sick, but take happy leaves. Look after yourself and just be happy when you've taken off. My work is a lot of fun. It's about books. It's about reading. It's about self-development. It's about talking to people. I love to travel. Abhi to band ho gaya. But well, this is my day. End of the day, I'll deliver the job, but I'll do it at my time. I love working from coffee shops. I have an office and I'll be sitting in a coffee shop and working. And then I will ask my team who wants to come with me and sit in a coffee shop and work. Nobody. They love the office so much. So yeah, that's my day at work.
You're always on the go.
Yes.
Okay. One last question. One message that you would like to give to these students who are starting their journey, ABS students from today itself.
See, I feel Give yourself a chance. Bet on yourself. Don't give up on yourself because things are not happening the way you want them to. Please understand, everybody and the world has different agendas than you. I'll quote Gopi Chand saying, he says that, when I go to win a match, what is my desire? I should win the match. But I cannot expect that the opponent should say, oh, Gopi has come, chal tu jeet ja. I will play badly, so you win. That all situations will align for me to win. No, life gets tougher and I have to become bigger than my opponent to beat him. Nobody is going to bend and say, chalo, tu le ja. Right? Life is like that. So every day, think, how can I be better? That should be your starting question when you wake up, and the last question when you end your day. How can I be better? And if that is your yardstick for life, you, my friend, will be a world champion at whatever you do. Take my word. I will sign it and give it to you.
Wonderful message for the students and a great start. I think this beginning has been so powerful and energetic. I'm sure they're going to go a very long way and carry these lessons all throughout their journeys now and in future as well. I would genuinely, it was a pleasure having you with us right now. But as you said, we definitely are looking forward to a session where we can physically have you, host you.
Oh, absolutely.
On behalf of the entire AEG fraternity, the management, staff members, and students, I thank you for your time, for your esteemed presence, and interacting with our students today. To acknowledge your presence, we would like to present a memento for you. Again, that's done virtually.
Oh, how nice. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Priya, and looking forward to a continued association with you in future as well.
Yes, thank you, Professor Garima. Also, special thanks to Professor Ravi Sharma for having me here. And to all of you guys, more power to you.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.